Hey everybody, I'm here in my office and I have some cicadas. Guys are interested in seeing what a cicada looks like before it emerges from its shell. This is a nymph. So I have quite a few of these nymphs. Hello, how are you? So this is a cicada nymph. It hasn't emerged. This is what you'll see, this shell once it emerges that sits on the fences and the trees and stuff. So this one will probably emerge between today and tomorrow. Hi, how are you? I'm just hanging with my temporary pets, my cicadas I found. So if any of you live in Cincinnati, I'll be doing a class about cicadas, explaining like their life cycle, why you shouldn't be scared of them, things like that. People, they seem to have this misconception about cicadas and the things that they do. People think they bite and things and they don't. So I'm just having a class to explain to people about these interesting creatures that have a 17-year life cycle. Oh, thank you. Those are zucchini plants. As you see, they're harmless. They don't even have chewing mouth parts. This is a nymph. It'll probably be an adult by at least Sunday. And it started raining, so a lot of them started coming up out the ground. It's zucchini. And I have some corn over here. Yeah, I never do any live videos on here. I should do more live videos on here than on Facebook, because Facebook seems to block people and they don't even know it comes on. Uh-oh. Yeah, but they're in another room. They're not in here. That light already cut off in there. They are beneficial insects to things that feed on them. The nymphs, they actually feed underground for 17 years, and what they'll do is initially they'll feed on grass roots, but they'll be so small they can't really damage it. And then as they get bigger, they'll feed on tree roots, but they never really damage the plants that they're feeding on. The adults, when they emerge, they'll feed on like tree sap. They have piercing, sucking mouth parts similar to like aphids and stuff. So they'll go in there and they'll just feed off of that. Uh-oh. Yeah, I did a Facebook Live earlier with the beehives. Now I'm doing cicadas. It just wants to go back so it can shed its skin, and I'm messing with it. Thank you. There's multiple types of, hold on, cicadas. There's not just the periodical ones. There's some annual ones. There's some that come every 7 to 10 years. There's some that come 13, 17, And then there's some species that actually can expand it out to 21 years. But the annual ones, they're usually green. They have a green, like, silvery color to them, but they come out every year. So there's different types of cicadas. These are just the ones that only come every 17 years or more. And these are actually coming a little bit early. They should have been in 2021, and they're actually coming in now. But they're still expecting a emergence in 2021 also. Yeah, I don't think the broods actually expand past the mountains. I've only seen them like in the Midwest and the southern states and some northern states. But they're harmless. I mean, it doesn't have a stinger, it doesn't bite. That's why I don't understand why people are so afraid of them. I'll show you what an adult looks like. I have some of those too. Hold on a second. So here's an adult. As this is what will emerge from that exoskeleton. It'll have wings. It'll turn black. This is actually a female. They'll have those red eyes. Focus camera. She's not happy about me holding her. How did I get started about insects? I've always liked them ever since I was a little child. Like 4 years old, I used to go out and collect insects and then study them. At 4 years old, I was studying them. And I would try to teach people about them just because I would just sit there and stare at them for hours and watch what they do. And then I want to share with people what they actually were doing. So I just always liked them. Usually when people were running away, I was running towards it to catch it. Yeah, you probably have the summer ones down south right now. Usually the summer ones stay up in the trees, and there's not a lot of them. I mean, there's enough to keep the population coming every year, but it wouldn't nearly be as many as it would be with these periodical ones, where it's just like thousands of them emerge at once. But you can see their little piercing, sucking mouth parts if I can get to focus in that close. See, that's their face. That thing pointing down is their mouth parts. They have 6 legs. They're insects. This is a female. She has an ovipositor. And she'll actually use that to lay eggs inside tree branches when it's time, when she's mated and ready to lay eggs. And the females do not make noise. The males are the ones that make all the noise. See if I can get one to make some noise. So I can find the male. All these girls. Alright, here's a male. We'll see if he'll make some noise or not. Oh, you're welcome. So most of these just emerged today, and they were caught today by a dear friend of mine. So it takes some time for them to harden and mature, but once they do, then they're off and making noise and mating and things. No, they actually make the noise to attract mates. They use that noise to attract females. They won't make noise till they pop. But see, he doesn't have an ovipositor like that female did. And the way he makes noise, if I can make him move his wings up a little bit. There's these two little white organs on the side of their abdomen. I don't want to break his wing. These two little white organs, there's one on each side right here. It's called a timbal, and that's how they actually, it vibrates and it creates that sound. No, I don't use anything to grow my nails. They just grow. I eat lots of green vegetables. Yeah, wasps can eat them if they can catch them. Birds really like them. Squirrels will eat them. Your dogs and cats will eat them. People can eat them. I mean, they're a good protein source. So when they come out, and they come out in large numbers, a lot of them get eaten before they're ever able to mate. So that's why a lot of them emerge in such high numbers, because they know they're going to be prey. They don't really have any defense mechanisms other than try to fly away. So they look here. So here's that nymph, and then here's this adult. Uh-oh. This is what the two look like together. Yeah, it's the first live video I've ever done on Instagram. I usually do them on Facebook. But I keep finding that Facebook blocks all my followers, and they don't even know I'm having a video on. And then it's hard to share it too. So I thought I'd just come on here today, because I went on Facebook for a little while and there was like really nobody watching it, to see if anybody would be interested in learning about cicadas. So there's a nymph, here's a male adult. You can see there's kind of resemblance. Cicadas aren't the best flyers, so that's why I'm really not concerned with him flying away. They're kind of bulky, and they do more falling than they do actually flying. Oh, well, thank you. Hi, Miss Bunny. Did y'all have any questions about anything? If not cicada, something else? Sorry, I'm trying to get this off my hand. Hold on a second. Here. No, I don't name them. I have too many of them. I'm going to teach, hopefully at some camps and stuff, about pollinators, cicadas, hydroponics. I'm gonna grow my stuff in my on my urban farm, and then I'm trying to work on doing an indoor hydroponics farm, a larger one than what I have, this little office. No, they don't bite. They don't even have chewing mouth parts. They have piercing, sucking mouth parts. Here, I'll show you. See that little, see, get the focus. Focus. I need my Olo clip. Here, I'll try it on the adult. You see that thing that's pointing downward? If I get the focus, right in the middle. That is their mouth parts. So they will put their mouth parts underneath bark in a tree, and then they'll suck the sap from the plants. They eat sap from plants. And the nymphs, they eat underground. They suck on the roots of plants underground. Oh yeah, I have a urban farm. I have a whole entire residential lot that I grow stuff on. So I'm getting that ready. Sounds like blowfly. Would you know what type of insect that is? Also, it sounded like a blowfly, and flies like one, little larger than a bee. Light color under stomach. Would you know what type of? It might be a hoverfly. They look like bees. Did it look like a bee? Turn you over. Don't want you on your back. Nope, I'm not vegan. Well, cicadas are basically food for other animals. When they emerge in large numbers, they provide a lot of protein for birds, dogs, cats, squirrels, anything that will eat an insect or anything that preys on something else. Usually they become the prey. Like I said, they're very clumsy. They don't fly very well. As soon as they emerge, they're like a white tannish color. So a lot of times they get picked off before they even mature to adults, because you'll have this white thing up against a brown tree and it'll just stand out, and they're usually just picked up by bats and birds and things. I think the reason that they emerge like they do is because they know that they're prey. So to keep their populations high, they have to wait those 17 years and kind of trick predators. And then when they emerge in large numbers, so they can actually mate and lay a lot of eggs. So the next generation that'll take 17 years to mature will be able to. Greatest head. It could be was it like metallic color, the fly? Because blowflies are usually like metallic. They're like blue or green. And you'll find them on, every now and then you'll find them on flowers. But for the most part, you find them on like dead things or animal feces or in garbage. They're the ones that their maggots are actually used a lot in like crime investigations. So what are you guys growing this summer in your gardens or on your farms? Well, if you see it again, can you get a picture? And maybe I can identify it from a picture. Or if you have a picture, you can send it to me. What kind of tomatoes are you growing? All right, you can just you can either send it in a direct message, or you can email it to me. I'll put my email in the comments. Thank you. Yeah, what I was trying to say about the loofahs is that they actually attract ants through their foliar nectaries, because they actually have their own little spots on the leaves that actually produce nectar that attracts those ants, and those ants will protect that plant. And a lot of times what will happen is they will chase off bees and everything that comes in contact with that plant. But I've never actually seen them actually farm aphids on there, so I even think they'll even, if an aphid found its way on there, they'd probably kill it, because they're very defensive over those plants. If you ever get close to it, they'll kind of rear up at you like you shouldn't be there. Thank you. I will keep up the good work. I started my urban farm about 3 years ago. But I've always been around flowers and stuff. My parents own a flower shop. So my mom's a florist. I've always liked nature and stuff. So, I mean, I've always been around this type of stuff. Even though I lived in the city, I just always gravitated towards, like, I guess you would say, more of a country lifestyle. And I've always liked the insects. And like animals too. Well, I just wanted to show you guys what cicadas look like before they emerge and what they look like after they emerge from the shells. So hopefully I'll get a picture, or while one of these nymphs are emerging, I can get them on video so you guys can see that process. It's not something you see all the time. Like I say, the summer ones are hard to find in the summer. And they usually emerge either early in the morning from these exoskeletons, or like at night. They'll come up and then they'll emerge at night, and then it takes hours before they're ready to actually fly away. Because like I said, they'll still be white and things, and they don't want to be out in the open because they'll be a target for prey. I mean, for predators. So they usually emerge either late at night or early in the morning, and then they hide. But yeah, I have quite a few cicadas. Hopefully most of them survive till Thursday so that I can use them for the class. I'm trying to get people used to just insects in general. I mean, we always have this bad thought when an insect comes into our room or something that's trying to get us, and I'm just trying to educate people more on insects and what their purposes are, or why we shouldn't fear them, because they're not really going to do what people have been taught they would do and things. So, hold on, see if this one might be trying to emerge. I'll check him in a few hours. But yeah, I don't know. I've just always liked insects, so this is why I study them. Alexander is in the other room. He's actually over in the flower shop. I'm in my office. I wonder what those spots were. What spots were you talking about? Jeannie Bean, if you're still there, what spots were you talking about? See, that's another thing with roaches. They're actually beneficial. It's just those the ones that actually invade human habitats are the ones that cause issues. But there's thousands of roaches, and they actually help break down. Um, they actually help break down their decomposers. So when things die or plants, they help compost things, and like especially in like the jungles and things, they help break things down. So that's pretty much what they're doing when they're in your house. It's just that their numbers can get out of control because of on the leaves. Because they reproduce so quickly and in high numbers. But if you eliminated the bad roaches, as we would call them bad ones because they're invading human spaces, they're actually very beneficial. There are some predatory roaches. They use roaches in medicine over in China. Some people have roaches as pets, and I'm not talking about like the German cockroaches and things like that. These would be like the hissing cockroaches, the larger varieties and things. They were actually doing an experiment. I think it was at the University of Michigan where they were testing them as composters, kind of like vermiculture. They called it bladdiculture because bladdy is for roaches, and they would actually have a whole aquarium full of roaches, and they would put things in there, and they would help break it down, just like the red wiggler worms would do, or the soldier fly larva. So they're very efficient at breaking things down. It's just that those four that invade our homes, was it 4 or 6? I can't remember right now. The ones that invade our homes are the ones that give the whole roach order a bad name. I would have to say lightning bugs and cicadas, because when I was about 7, that's when I first encountered cicadas. I was probably in second, maybe 7 or 8. I was in second or third grade, and I was just really interested in them because it was just weird that something it takes 17 years to actually come out and to actually mature. Like, that's not normal for an insect. Insects, they reproduce very quickly and they mature very quickly, and then they reproduce the next generation. But you have something that takes 17 years to get to that point. And it had to be lightning bugs, because when I was even younger, 4 and 5, I would catch lightning bugs. I would catch spiders. I used to like watching spiders. I used to watch lightning bugs. And actually, when I was 5, I would watch lightning bugs, and I always noticed that there was this one particular lightning bug that would attract other ones to her, and she would actually eat them. And like for the longest time, no one could ever tell me. I would tell people like there's a lightning bug eating another one. They'd be like, oh no, lightning bugs don't do that, blah, 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 blah. And so even when I went to college, when I was in my 20s, I had actually talked to an entomology professor, and I was asking him like, is there a lightning bug that actually eats other lightning bugs? And he was like, I don't know. He gave me like the strangest look, like he didn't know exactly what I was talking about. So it was like back in 2005, I just did a Google search because I didn't know what they were called. And it was this one little article. And it was like somebody else had noticed that there was a lightning bug that was eating other ones. And then like, about 4 years ago, I did another Google search, and then they actually had a name with it now, and there was other people that actually had witnessed it. But all those years ago, because I'm 37, when I was 5, I identified. I probably should have been able to name it because no one had ever seen it before. But there is a lightning bug that actually eats other ones, and I used to sit there and watch that and just be amazed. Like nobody believes me. But there is one, and she actually, what she does is she attacks the males of another species, and she takes and feeds on them so she can sequester that luminescence that they actually give off when they light up. She takes that and she absorbs it, and then she uses it, and she uses that to actually feed on other lightning bugs. Most people don't know lightning bugs are actually beetles. They're in the beetle order, Coleoptera. And I did an article about lightning bugs and different types and things in the Dirt magazine. I can't remember what edition that was in, or issue was in. But if you read the dirt, it's in there and it explains about the predatory lightning bug and things. Well, for blowflies, hold on, spiders, I'm very afraid. I wish I could calm like you. Yeah, for the most, hold on. Let me go through these questions and go back to the top. Fly ones are the worst. Plant something to keep bugs out without killing them in the house. The only way to keep bugs out is you have to eliminate whatever they're attracted to. So if you have fruit flies, you probably brought them in on some fruit that you got from the store, or they're coming in from a window or something. If you have like drain flies or fungus gnats, they may be coming in through your pipes. If you have spiders, that means you probably have some other insects in your house that they're feeding on. House centipede, same thing. They have something in your house that they're feeding on. So to keep insects out, you have to figure out why they're coming in or how they're coming in. Deter mosquitoes. Are you talking about deter them like on your skin or just deter them in your house? Because the way you prevent mosquitoes populations from getting out of control is you have to dump water. So if you have water sitting around your home and things outside and even inside, because they get in, they can breed in the water. They need water to breed. So if you have water sitting around, they're going to breed. Still water. Now, if it's a water with like a current to it, they can't reproduce in that. Their larvae aren't able to overcome the current. But if it's just still sitting water, that's a perfect breeding ground for mosquitoes. Yeah, those citronella plants and things, when you plant them, they don't really do what people claim they do. Mosquitoes, females are the only ones that bite. So they need to bite you so they can actually use the blood to make their eggs. So when they're seeking you out, they're seeking out a few things. First, they're looking for your CO2. They're looking for your body heat. And then once they actually land on you, they're trying to find this area where the skin is open. And how they do that is they detect lactic acid, which is usually excreted when you're sweating a lot. So people that are athletes and stuff and they've been sweating, they're probably going to get bit a lot more than people that are just sitting around. That's not always the case, but a lot of times it is. So you have to, when they tell you to put like the DEET and stuff on, what that's doing is making your skin covering up lactic acid smell, so they can't actually detect it. You can set out traps of dry ice, and it'll give off CO2, and that can draw them away from where you are. But plants, they don't really deter them. A lot of times they'll just sit on the plants and wait for you to walk past so they can bite you. Let's see here. Hey, I love those little guys. I love listening. I actually go to witness. Yes, I love cicadas too. That's why I'm so excited that I got to see them again. This is my third or fourth time seeing some. Probably my third time. And hopefully I'll get to see them again in 2021, because that's when these are actually supposed to emerge. So even though we're having this emergence now, it's supposed to be even bigger in 2021. Like the whole brood is supposed to emerge then that didn't emerge in this year. Those black bugs with glow in the dark green eyes. Those black bugs with glow in the dark green eyes, are they in the lightning bug family? I'm not sure what you're talking about. The dark green eyes. I'm not sure if, do you have a picture of that? The lightning bug larvae, usually their abdomens glow, and you'll find them like in wood and things before they actually mature to adults. Once they're on their back, they the click beetles. No, well, they are beetles, but they're not in the lightning bug family. Those are click beetles. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, the click beetles. No, they don't. They're not in the same exact family as lightning bugs, but they are in the order of Coleoptera, which are beetles. Their larvae are actually wire worms that feed on roots and things. So their larvae can be kind of a pest. Yeah, they emerge from underground once they pupate. The larvae will, like I said, they'll feed on roots underground. Sometimes they can be a problem to corn, and then they'll emerge, and then they'll emerge as the beetles. And yeah, if you disturb them, they do make that click sound. That's why they call them click beetles. Well, all right, I'm gonna sign off of here. If you guys have any, oh, hold on, I have one that's actually splitting. So this one's about to emerge. You can see it split the back. So it's about to come out of that exoskeleton. So we'll have a new cicada in a few hours. So this is the part we usually don't get to see because they're doing this either like at night or early morning or like under a leaf or something, so they're not like a target. But you can see it's coming out of there. And what it does is it pumps. How they come out is they pump their blood, which is called hemolymph. They pump up and they swell up, and then they split that exoskeleton, and then they push themselves out of there. And it might come all the way out. I don't know. We'll see. It seems to be pushing out pretty fast. Oh, thank you. I just like teaching people on social media. I know you see a lot of nonsense on social media, and so I always say I'm going to use it for good and not for bad. So I don't try to do the things other people do, or they're trying to either start fights and argue with people. I just like educating people on stuff, especially that interests me. Because I find this very interesting, and I found that a lot of other people find it interesting. I didn't think people did, but I see they do. But you can see it. You can see it pulsating a little where it's breathing. Hopefully you'll get to see it push all the way out. It depends on what brood is in your area. So there's different broods. Um, this right here is brood 10, but it came 4 years early. So I'm not sure what brood would actually cover the New York area. There may be a couple. There's a website, I think it's called Cicada Mania. But they follow all the broods every year. They have a calendar of when they're supposed to emerge, and if they find that they're emerging a lot earlier, they'll tell you. That's how I found out about this particular brood coming out 4 years early. Um, so you can go on there and you can look in your area and you can see what brood will emerge and when. They have it out for like almost 100 years of when they will come out. Um, but it may be that you only hear what you're hearing are summer ones. They're called annual or summer cicadas, and you just haven't had a brood emerge yet. I hope we can see the wings come out. As you can see what color it is, like I said, they're like a creamy white color before they mature to this black adult. And this is how the summer ones would do as well. They come out of little shells like this, but only thing they're like a green and kind of like a white color, and they don't look like these. They're not black. They actually have like iridescent looking green on them, and their eyes are a different color and things. So all these little nymphs, I see another one that's starting to split, so they're all about to emerge. So we get to see a cicada in the making. Yo, all the nymphs. I see they're all splitting. So they're all, like I said, these were collected today and they were all crawling out. So I knew they would emerge soon. I just didn't know it was going to be this soon. So you can see from the side, it's almost all the way out. Right. So it's almost completely out of there, as you can see. For those of you that just joined, what we're watching is a cicada emerge from the last nymphal stage. This is the little shells you see on the trees and stuff once they emerge and turn into adults. So it's coming out of this shell. I didn't know they were about to do this. I was just talking about cicadas in general, and I just saw these start to split open. There's some other ones that are splitting as well. But this one's the furthest along. The other ones, they just have a little split. So in a few hours, it'll look like that guy over there. It's hard to tell that that will look like that, but it will. So it has to get the little arms out of there. It has to get his legs out, I'm sorry. As you can see, it's almost out. They have to harden, so they have to turn into these black ones. It comes out like this. It's white. They have to pump hemolymph through their wings to spread their wings out. The wings are actually those orange looking things. You'll see once he actually completely emerges. You'll see what they look like. I think it's gonna be almost, yeah, yep, it's almost out. So it's got his legs out and everything. Yeah, there's like 3 more coming out of their shells now. These were actually underground for 13 years. It should have been 17 years, but they came 4 years early. So it takes that long for these to mature to this last nympho stage before they emerge as adults above ground. So you see it pumping its wings. It's got to get that hemolymph growing through there so they can spread out. It's going to look like this one. See how long those wings are? Now those little orange, yellowish looking things are actual wings. So it's got a while to go, and it's also going to turn black like that. So as you can see, it has to pump all that hemolymph through there. It has to spread its wings, and it has to stay vertical so the wings will actually drop down like this. If it's not vertical, what'll happen is, I'll show you one that didn't. It must have been like on something that wasn't vertical, so its wings are like kind of messed up. This one right here, its wings are messed up. So this one will never be able to fly. And if I had it outside, it would probably be prey for a bird or something, because it can never get away. But as you can see, it's out. It's pretty much out. There's a lot of speculation that global warming or something has to contribute to the broods coming out early. Also, their habitats are being taken away. Like anytime someone built a building, that takes away soil that they would live in. So there's a lot of issues that humans are actually contributing to their uh, decline. Pollution, things like that, pesticides. I mean, even though they're feeding underground, the pesticide still leaches down into the ground and it can have an effect on them. But, yep, we have one emerged here. We have another one coming out up here. There's another one coming out right here. There's another one coming out over here. I can't get the camera on that one. But this one it's out. We have a new cicada. Like I say, it's gonna turn into this. I know it doesn't look like it, but it will. You said I feel like it's gonna slap the camera. Nah. They're harmless. They look strange right now though, but what I'm gonna do with them is I'm gonna actually teach a class on Thursday with them about cicadas, dispel some myths that people have heard about them, and hopefully get people to overcome their fears of cicadas, because there's a lot of people that are scared of them and they don't do anything. They don't bite, they don't sting, they don't damage your crops and things. But for some reason people have acquired these fears and they pass them on to their children, and their children pass them on, and half the time their children have never even seen them because they were out before they were even born. But when they emerge, then they're terrified of them, and there's no reason to be afraid. They don't do anything. They don't bite, they don't sting, they don't do things like stink bugs, or they make stink on you. They don't do any of that stuff. Yeah, a lot of people are only afraid of insects because their parents were afraid of them. That's a lot of things in life. People are scared of things that they've never actually even experienced because somebody taught them to be scared of it. So that's a male, you can hear him making noise. Actually, they're a lot louder than that. He's not really making the noise like he could. But he doesn't want me holding him. So we have this one up here that's almost completely out too. And this one. I mean, all spiders, they do have poison. That's how they subdue their prey. Just some poisons are, they'll affect us more than others. But all spiders, I'm gonna tell you, all spiders have venom because that's how they eat. They take the venom and it subdues their prey. Yeah, it's just coming out of the shell. So with that, it's just some spiders' venom is more toxic to humans or animals than others. Here's another one coming out. So as you can see, that's the shell that you would find on a tree, on a fence, on a building, depending on where they emerge from. They gotta get that blood pumping through all those body parts. And then they'll start to crawl. But you can see this one, it looks kind of like these, minus the color, and the wings haven't expanded yet. So there's 2 more nymphs that haven't started to emerge yet. So I'm pretty sure they'll be doing this before the night's over. There's another one right here. So that little nymph right there is going to turn into one of these right here. And this is the process right here. This is when they're most vulnerable at this point, because they can't fly. They really can't crawl yet because they have to get all that hemolymph pumping through all those body parts. And then they're this bright white color. That's where they stand out like a sore thumb. If they were outside, a bird would definitely come along and just pick them up and eat them. So Instagram is counting down. It says I have 1 minute and 45 seconds left, I guess. But I was glad I got to share this with you. I wasn't expecting this. This was cool. If you have any questions about cicadas or any other insects, you can email me. It's urbanfarmsister@gmail.com. Or you can send it in a direct message, or you can, if you see a picture or something, you can tag me on it and ask the question. Oh, you're welcome. So I'll just wait out this last minute before I guess it cuts off. I didn't know there's a time limit on here. I thought it was like Facebook, you could just go on for hours. So yep, I have 30 seconds. What we have here are some emerging periodical cicadas. We had 3 actually emerge while I was talking about cicadas on this live feed. And eventually this will look like that. It's just gonna take some time for it to get the blood pumping through all those body parts. So I have 5 seconds, so I'll see you guys later. Adios.